All right, we're live, we're live, we're live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here we go.
Where my girls at? Where my girls at? Independent, free spirit. Ooh, it's so serious. Where my girls at? We linked up in a cool minute. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right.
Happy Tuesday, y'all. We are here. I can't believe it's Tuesday, and we are here. Thank you guys for being here. It's going to be a great show. We are talking delegation. Delegation. Do it, dump it, delegate it. That's what we're doing. We are excited to talk about delegation. Are you a good delegator? You can hear me? Are you supposed to hear me?
I can hear you.
You're supposed to hear me. Okay. All right. Hey, tribe. Thank you for being here. We're excited that you are here. Today, we are talking delegation. Do it, delegate it, dump it. I am Sabrina Goodwin Monday with the Girlfriends, a Force of Friendship. And we got issues. Issues. We all have them. Let's talk about them. So,
all right. Well, great day, everybody. This is We Got Issues, and I'm your host, Crisette Ellis, and I'm excited to be here. You are listening to WFDF 910 AM, the Superstation, and you know, I am here with my girlfriends. Where they at? They are Sabrina, Caterina, and Gloria is traveling on today, so she will join us on tomorrow. But I'm your host for today, and of course, we are always excited to come to you Monday through Friday from 6 to 7 p.m. And when I tell you, we always got something to talk about, okay? You don't know. It could be politics. It could be about Botox, facelifts. That's what we talked about on yesterday. I mean, we talk about it all, and we have fun doing it. Sometimes our topics aren't funny. Sometimes they're very serious because we promise to be not to be Pollyannish, but we're going to be powerful, and we are going to be powerful. And so today, I'm so excited about our topic. I'm telling you. Okay, so today, let's see. I went to a funeral, and then I had to go grocery shopping, and then I had to come back and make some breakfast for my father, and then I'm house hunting, and then, yep, you got it. Everybody got a list of stuff that we got to do. I mean, as people, I was going to say as women, but men experience this too. We wear a lot of hats, you guys. We put one on to take one off, and sometimes we're wearing multiple hats at the same time. And you know what? I have found out that can cause a burnout for sure. So today we're going to be talking about delegation dynamics. Just because you can don't mean that you need to do everything. So I'm telling you, we're excited. We have a special guest on today, and she is a guest that you've heard before. When I tell you she is our guest, that she does multiple things because she's just that smart. But we're excited. I'll introduce her to you in just a few minutes, but I want to meet my girlfriends, send a shout out to them, have them come on, and I'm going to throw it to my co-host on today I think she's in the West Coast. I know she's going to be coming to the Northwest in a few, but Caterina, what's going on in the West Coast?
Hot. I am HOOT. It is, I could ask Miss A over here, but she'll interrupt the show what the temperature is. And, you know, ALEXA. But I think she probably will put a 9 in there today. I think it's 90.
I think it is 86, 87, 90 up in here today, and everybody's hot. The dog's hot, everyone's hot. So this is our first time of beginning to turn on the air conditioning. But one of the things that's interesting in California, I don't know if you ever visited Northern California, but all of California, we have something called June gloom. So in June, it gets really cold. It gets really cold kind of in June. So we hesitate to turn on our AC because really in July, it's like off the chain from pretty much July to September. But today it is hot. The topic is hot. And I just got off a 2-hour conference call with my assistant. So it's hot. My third time changing clothes already at 3:00 on Pacific time. So we are masters at Delegation Dynamics and thinking about hiring somebody else. So let's give it up for the topic today. Cannot wait to bring her in. Sabrina, everybody's saying, look at the hair, look at the lips, look at Sabrina. What's happening?
Don't even try. Y'all act like I be on here looking crazy.
Back on the block.
Yeah, I got my hair did. Feeling good. It's a great day. It's been a busy day. Busy. Took my mother-in-law to get her second shot today. And so she's excited. And it's just amazing to see how when it first hit, it was so hard to get in to get your COVID vaccine. And now it's, they're begging people to come get their vaccine. Mm-hmm. So we just know that it's important. I don't know how we're ever going to get everybody done if everybody doesn't do. So, that's my plug, y'all. Go get the shot. Go get the shot. You have a greater chance of not getting sick. Definitely ill. Had a girlfriend whose aunt passed away today at 70 years old, and her daughter is very, very sick from COVID. And so this thing is real. It continues to be real. So we must stay just very, very vigilant about that situation. We are still in the middle of it. So today we're talking delegation. And my motto has always been, do it, delegate, dump it. You got 3 choices, Sabrina. Pick one of them. Don't commiserate. Don't hesitate. Don't, what's another word? Procrastinate. Do it, delegate, dump it. So here we go, Chris. We're excited about this topic.
Wow, I love that. I'm gonna pick that one up, Sabrina. You the queen of rhyme. I'm telling you, you guys, don't you love to hear Sabrina talk? We love to hear Sabrina talk because every last syllable is said when she talks. So sometimes I have to channel my Sabrina when I'm talking. I say, "Oh, you sound just like Sabrina. You're real smart, real smart." Okay, so we're getting ready to meet our guest. And we're excited to have her on the show on today. You guys met her probably over a month ago when we were talking about online dating. And when I tell you, we're still waiting on the book. We're still waiting on the book, Tony, waiting on the book. But I'm so glad to bring back to the show Tony Britton, who is a business consultant who teaches sales and leadership skills. You guys, she is an amazing woman. She has been working with our girlfriend, Gloria, for almost 19 years. She's been managing different aspects of her direct sales business. And she's also been very instrumental in creating systems, coaching, and training. So when I tell you this woman is the woman that you call, you know how they say the cleanup man or the cleanup woman. I think there was a song, but let me stay away from that. But in a different way, you watch the movies and they call the cleanup person. That means that they're gonna kill somebody, they're gonna clean it up so nobody knows. Well, she's not that kind of cleanup person, but she is the perfect person when you talk about delegating important jobs that you want to get done. So before we delve into Tony and how she handles being the go-to person that Gloria and others have gone to, I'm sure, when it comes to delegation. Let me just tell you why delegation is important. Delegation is important because it helps to develop the capacity of others and it makes them feel valuable. it makes them feel valuable to the organization. It also encourages job satisfaction through a sense of shared responsibility and breaks the monotony of a subordinate's usual task and routine. And when I tell you, some of us, and we absolutely want you to comment in our chat, we also want you to call in and tell us what you think about delegation. Are you one of those people that just have to do it all? Can't nobody do it as good as you, so you do everything. You know, some people just don't like to delegate, even though they should. But we want to hear from you. So make sure you call us at 313-778-7600. Again, that's 313-778-7600. So let's get into delegation. Let me just give you a few stats. According to a recent industry stat, 70% of individuals in leadership roles are uncomfortable transferring their responsibility to a subordinate, and less than 30% of companies today provide training to enhance the leader's delegation techniques. According to the Statistics by Bloom Leadership, 79% of employees quit due to the lack of appreciation, by which they mean lack of opportunities to grow professionally, absence of the opportunities to voice their opinion on the company's matters, and managers not delegating tasks to the employees, thus disrespecting their potential and not allowing them to take part in managing the company. Now, of course, we're talking about a company, but again, those of us that are entrepreneurs, we are our own business owners, and we have a lot of stuff when you're managing your own business. So Tony, welcome back to We Got Issues. We got issues. Yes. Yes, and so this is our topic, the delegation dynamics. So, talk to us a little bit about how you got into working. I know you're working for Gloria. Tell us a little bit about that and the dynamics of that, and then how she delegates things to you.
Okay, well, I became a master delegator because of her. I've always been, everyone calls me the fixer, sort of. Everybody comes to me if they're buying a house or they're doing this and they want to know, because everyone thinks I know everything. I really don't, but people just think that. I don't know why. So when I first started working with Gloria, she actually approached me and said, I need someone to do this and to help me with this. And she couldn't really exactly articulate what it was. She just knew she needed help. So I said, well, I don't know anything about your business. She said, oh, that's okay. You just need to know people. Okay. So I accept, I get started. I log into the computer. And if anyone remembers that computer 19 years ago, how not helpful it was and how not user-friendly and how not navigatable, I got a quick lesson like on day 2 when I called her and I said, hey, I'm trying to find such and such and such. She said, oh, you got to call somebody else. I was like, oh, okay. So there was no questions. No, figure it out. Okay, so got that. And then as everything grew and people started deciding that I was the answer person, everyone calls me, even for things that they can find themselves or do themselves. So there's a couple of different kinds of delegation to me. There's like project delegation, if you're working on a project and there's a team and you're just delegating tasks to people. But then there's that, oh, by the way, delegation. Like if someone calls and says, do you know XYZ? Even if I know, I'm like, that's a great question. Listen, when you find out, let me know and then tell everyone else. So now I've killed 18 birds with one stone with that little small piece of getting someone else to do something. Any project that you're doing, you should delegate as much as you safely can without impeding the project. So you have to know who you're delegating to. They have to be proven. There's also the delegators that I call the helpers. You know how those people that just want to help do anything. They just want to be in the mix. They just want to help. If there's anything you need, just let me know. That should be your go-to group because you're giving them a gift. You're making them feel really good and important because they're helping you and they always want to help. So that is like the top tier group to go to for the helpers. Then you have that auxiliary help like house cleaners. That's a delegation because if you don't like to or want to clean your house, you're delegating it to someone else, even though you're paying them. So I've always had a house cleaner, always. I would cut corners somewhere else so I could afford to have a house cleaner. And when I got married a couple of years ago, my new husband had never had a housekeeper and he didn't understand the value of a housekeeper. And I said, I don't clean. And he said, oh, it's just easy, a little sweeping. I said, no, but I don't. I don't clean. And so he said, oh, okay. He said, well, I'll do it. I said, okay. And I think he thought I would help just because I should, but I really didn't.
Meant that.
So,
you meant that, Tony. I don't do house cleaning.
Listen.
Hey, Tony, did you put that on your profile?
No, it wasn't. But the thing is, the whole time we were dating, he knew I had a house. He knew. So I just figured it was like a natural transition of things, but it was not. Needless to say, we have a house cleaner, of course. And now he loves it because I said to him, why should we spend our spare time, our free time cleaning? Let's do something fun. So now he loves the house cleaner and the fact that he's not cleaning anymore. So it's a short experiment.
Essence, Tony, you introduced him to something that he didn't know he really needed, okay? And now he's enjoying it, okay? Well, real quickly, just to add to what you're saying, Tony, there are benefits to delegating, and there are benefits, as you said a few minutes ago, that the people that you delegate it to, that they receive. So these are a few of the benefits to the delegator. It relieves you of some of your workload, time pressure, and stress. It allows you to devote your energies to higher paid tasks. Prepare people to handle tasks in your absence, and prepares people to take on your job so you can move up. And it allows you to assess a delegatee's potential. So all of those are a great benefits of that the person that's delegating receives. And so, you know, I know my girlfriends, Sabrina and Caterina, they have, I don't know if they would consider themselves to have mastered delegation, but I know because all of us, you know, are entrepreneurs and we do wear multiple hats. We've had to learn. I'm still learning how to do it. So I don't know. I'll kick it to Caterina. Caterina, I know you are only child, and can you talk about times or instances before you start delegating?
That's interesting for me because
we can't hear
I'm
you,
one of
Caterina.
the ones. That is interesting for me because I am one of the ones who's really been delegating since I was probably 8 years old.
Really?
I was a bossy kid, so I would always say, "You turn the rope." I mean, delegation came easy for me. It came easy for me. I think like this is an aha moment. I think I got it out of the womb. I'm not sure where that came from, but I think part of where it came from is because there was only one child. That was me. So my parents delegated everything to me and I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice. So whenever there was an opportunity for me to get help, it was easy for me to ask because it was just me. So I think I learned that I got really good at enrolling people to come in and help me pick up the leaves in the pool, come in and help me do this, come in and help me do this. And so I don't really know. I was the one with the day timer in the third grade. So
the one with the what, Caterina?
With the day timer. Now that we sophisticated, but that's what it was called before Palm Pilots, before all that stuff. Y'all remember day timer? I had one. Yep. The office supply store was one of my favorite places. girl, I think I've been delegating for a long time. And it actually happened for me. It's really good. It's a great skill to give your kids from being involved, I think, in student government, from being involved in, leadership opportunities. I was student body president from literally the first grade all the way through graduating to college. And so that always gave me an opportunity to have people that I could say, you help with this, you help with this, you help with this. Now, being able to shift from just, we could talk about that, because you don't want to come from a place of just giving people something. You want to empower people. So, and delegation can come from an empowering place. And I had to learn how to do that. You're not just passing off, you're not just the big brother who's passing off to the younger sister the stuff you don't want to do. So, it's always, you want it to be a win-win situation. And the last thing I would say, can talk about this more after the break, Chris, is, you figure out how much money you're making. So for example, even somebody who's making $40,000 a year, you make $16 an hour. If you're making $100,000 a year, you make $41 an hour. So think about how much you could afford to pay someone. Even if you're like, I don't have a lot of money. If you want to go from 40 to making 60 to making more, you might want to find someone that you can pay cash, $10 an hour, to help you with a few things here and there. And we can talk about, do you pay hourly or do you pay for projects? That's a whole other conversation. Sometimes you don't want to pay hourly because it'll take all day.
Absolutely. Wow. This is a great conversation. Delegation dynamics. Some people are control freaks. They got to do it themselves, but others are like, hey, I'm going to give it away if I can. So we want you to call us and tell us what you think about delegation. 313-778-7600. We're taking a break and we'll be right back after talking about delegation dynamics.
Oh my goodness. Are you a good delegator? Are you a good delegator? Or do you want to just, you can't hear me?
Look, I'm telling you. Okay. Mute.
Okay. All right. Thank you. The sound sounds great.
Tell you what, you guys.
I said the sound is good today.
Great delegators, and some people have a problem because they're control freaks. Are you a good delegator?
Need to make sure we park it right here.
I learned early on, you guys, I think I became better at delegation when I started having those babies.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I was just really busy. And I said, I don't want to be all things to all people. So I've got to delegate. And there are lots of people around you who want to help. You got to know that, you guys. So stop thinking you can't afford. Kudos off to those of you who have housekeepers who get some help.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Excellent. And I also believe that you deserve that free time to sit there and do nothing and be able to put somebody to do the task that you want to do. And so, nice to find somebody trained, some qualified that you can trust. Big for me. When I first started hiring help, trust was big, but I found early on that there are some amazing people in this world. I use the referral system. Who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? Whenever I was looking for somebody to help me with the task, I would go to a trusted friend. I would go to a trusted church member. I would go to somebody in my business, and I say, this is what I'm looking for. So you guys, don't be afraid to get some help, because you can't do it all and do it all well. And I think that's one thing about women. We wear a lot of different hats. We take pride in doing it all well, but you don't have to. So this is really what this is about. This conversation is get the help you need. Aren't you guys? We're going back to the show.
All right, all right. We are coming back. We're coming back from the break. And prior to the break, we were talking about delegation dynamics. Just because you can do it doesn't mean that you should do it. And we are here with our special guest, Tony Britton, is hanging out with the girlfriends on today because she is that person. We're missing our girlfriend, Gloria. She does a lot in Gloria's office, and everybody needs, we talked about it probably a month ago or so about having a Girl Friday, somebody that does a lot of the things that you don't want to do. So whether you call it a Girl Friday or whether it is your executive assistant, finding people to do the things that's going to free you up to do other things that's going to help take you to the next level is so important. And I know Sabrina, she lives in a household. She has her husband, Kenny, is an Olympic gold medalist. They have a lot going on in their home, traveling around the country. I think Kenny is still, where's he, Sabrina?
Why can't I think where he is? Oh my goodness. It's not Belarus. Where is Kenny? Bulgaria. Okay.
Let me help you find your husband.
Kenny, if you're listening, she lost you for a minute. Kenny, but she figured out.
Out of sight, out of mind. Okay? No, baby, I'm just playing.
You in trouble.
Okay. So Sabrina, I so remember so many years ago when the kids were small, Kennedy, they were small, and I came over to your house to spend the night, and you were cooking dinner for me, and Quincy was all in the pot, and Kennedy was, it was stuff going on at Sabrina's house. They were everywhere. But I also remember, hearing her talk about having a housekeeper, having someone that come in and watch the kids. And so I know for you, that has always been so big about creating that space, that home atmosphere, but just making sure you're delegating, but still keeping those things that are so important to creating a great family system. So talk about some of the things that you did, Sabrina, when your children were younger.
Yeah, for sure, Crisette. I always have had help. Very busy household. And for me, it was just important because Kenny and I moved around so much, we didn't want the kids to have to move around so much. We wanted their home environment to be stable, steady, intact. And so it was easy to bring somebody in the home instead of us taking them out of the home when we needed childcare. And so I've always had, when they were little, it was always a full-time nanny. It was always serious help. And that freed me up so that I could be my best in my business. I could give my marriage what it needed. Because, when you have a lot of babies at the same time, it can be a little overwhelming, okay? It's a lot going on, especially when you have a business that requires a lot of travel. And so I always prayed about who we would bring into the house. We interviewed them very well. There was a checklist: non-smoker. I didn't want her to have her own small children. It was a list that worked for our family, and it was very specific. And then we prayed about it. Why are you laughing, Chris? What do you think?
I'm just listening to you. I'm like, Sabrina was LinkedIn before LinkedIn.
Okay. Yeah. LinkedIn, my very own way. Absolutely. But I just think it's important because I saw some of the comments that I didn't trust. I don't trust people to come into my home. I don't trust. Trust is big. And what I realized is there are more great people in the world than not so great. Felicia says she has 5 children under the age of 6. That's major. 5 children in 6 years. And so it's important. It's imperative. I always also knew that Kenny was not going to love me more for cleaning the toilet. He wasn't going to love me because I cleaned the toilet and mopped the floors, okay? That ain't like, oh, baby, you so sexy doing that. I know, all right? And so,
Sabrina, did the people that you had, the nannies, were they referrals, or did you find them through an organization, or was it somebody that love, trust, or
we have done an au pair, and you know what? When I went through those kind of businesses, it was they were not my best help. My best
Really?
help were referrals from friends and family members. Referrals. I mean, I'm telling you guys, one time Carla said she'd be one of those folks with cameras everywhere. And you know what? Back then, that wasn't a really big deal. But yeah, I would definitely have cameras. It's okay to have cameras. And it's okay to fire people if they don't work out. Be okay to say, today is your last day. Not even a 2-week notice. But today is the day that we part ways. I've only had to do that a couple of times through the household hiring stage, but we've been so blessed. I mean, we were so blessed that one woman moved with us from Oklahoma to Texas, left her family for about 8 months when we made a move to another state. And so, you guys, people have different needs and wants, and she loved rearing our children, and it was a blessing for us. So I think you got to trust. You have to know what you want. You have to believe that God is going to put people in your path exactly what you're looking for. Ask for it, seeking you shall find. I believe that.
That's powerful.
Can I just say something about security? Can I just say something about security? This is really important, you guys. I've had all kinds of people that have worked for me in the home. I haven't been blessed to need to hire a nanny because I didn't have small kids, but I understand, still had people in the house. They know your passwords. They know things. If you don't know how to do it yourself, get someone who can help you. If my assistant stops working for me today, I can cut her off with a couple of passwords because she doesn't, it's not that difficult, because nowadays passwords, if I want her to do anything for me, she's got to have passwords. So there's just a couple things. It's a reason you have the keypad system to your house, so you don't have to have a key. Then you don't have to change all the locks. Right. It's just literally go there and change. So nobody has the access to the alarm. No one has access to a couple of things that if I need to change something, it goes into that vault that only my family has access to. So you guys, it's just, but the freedom that it gives you, oh my gosh, I can't imagine.
Listen,
but
Gloria,
you protect yourself.
Gloria is so extra special. We love her. I can remember one time when Gloria owned a home in Florida, and she didn't live there. It was like a second home or third, whatever it was. And she called me one day and said, "Hey, are you busy?" Which is always a loaded question with her. I didn't know what you need. She said, "I need my house recarpeted." I said, "What house?" She said, "The Florida house." And I lived in that city in Florida. I said, "Okay." She said, "Well, can you do it?" I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Go pick some carpet for my house." I said, "The whole house?" She said, "Yes." I said, "You want me to go pick carpet for a whole house?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Well, how much am I spending?" She said, "Can you just pick some carpet?" I mean, and I literally went and picked carpet and had it installed. I mean,
wow.
That was a master delegation. Would you delegate someone to recarpet your house? Like choose the carpet? Like she didn't tell me a color or a style or
if that was your forte, I would, but just calling somebody now, maybe, she knows you well enough. She likes your taste. She's been at your house, and you guys, if you had talked about design before and she know you had a knack for it.
Not.
I mean,
no.
Well, see, no, I wouldn't know. Now, see, that's delegation at another whole level. I don't think I would ask somebody that I didn't know that was their thing to just go and pick, because I guess it doesn't matter. What if you just hated it?
But Gloria,
Gloria, you know, sweating under my arms the whole time. Like, what if she fixed this? What do you do? Just like today, she called me at, I don't know, 2:00 and said, I was able to get a flight. I said, oh, good. She said, so I need you to go do the radio show. I said, okay, hey, that's a delegation, a big one, big. She's pretty smooth. She's pretty smooth. That was pretty good.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something. One of the things is I talked about earlier, the benefits to the delegator, but there are also benefits to the delegatees. And these are some of the benefits. It develops their skills, abilities, experience, and perspective and judgment. It prepares them for greater responsibility, authority, and promotion. It raises their involvement and visibility within an organization, and it helps them feel more trusted and significant, and it builds their motivation. And so, sometimes, people may be afraid to delegate some things, or they don't want to ask people to help. But I'm going to tell you, I so remember when my daughter Kirsten was born and she had her skin disorder, and I had just started my business, and I was like, Lord, I need somebody that can be there to be her caretaker. And I didn't want to just hire a nurse that didn't know her. I wanted somebody that could be there that would love on her, that would be very particular because of her skin disorder. And I reconnected with somebody that I absolutely loved. As a matter of fact, she had been our housekeeper for a while, and then we kind of left. We kind of gotten out of contact. So anyway, long story short, I called her. I told her what I needed and asked her if she was interested. And I'll never forget, she said to me, I'm so glad that you called me. She said, because I was just about to move back to Chicago. I was really kind of lonely. I needed something to do. And she said, you just don't know, you're saving my life. I need this. And I thought to myself, wow, to be able to delegate, some of the care of my daughter so that I could still pursue the goals and aspirations that I had, but then it was a win-win. And that's the great thing about when delegation is done right. The delegator gets something out of it, and the person that you're delegating it to should get something out of it as well. So I think, those of you who don't like to give stuff away, and sometimes you think, I'm the best at it, and maybe you are, but people cannot grow if you don't dare to allow them to grow. And in growing, you're going to make mistakes. But once they get it, you sit back and say, wow, sometimes they end up doing it better than you did.
Yeah.
That's what just happened to me.
True.
You guys have been hearing me talk about my closet. And your clothes, your shoes, it's a big deal. But when I went to Chicago, I brought a bunch of clothes back here, and I was like, they ain't fitting in this closet. And I'm telling you, I have a friend who lives up the street. She just makes things pretty. And it was a big deal for me to I just let her in the closet. She did every drawer in my bedroom. And I would kind of like be there with her. She's like, throw these hangers away, get some new hangers, do this. I had, whatever. And when I came back, it took her 3 days. She did it in sections. It's like beautiful.
Can you send her to Detroit?
I mean, seriously. And guess what? I was like, how much do you want me to pay her? She's like, just bless me. This blesses me. She loves organizing.
Wow.
So she's going to every section of my house. Just, sometimes you just like take everything out the drawer, put it back. And I was expecting her to buy all this stuff and need all this stuff. She's like, just buy me some more hangers. She found everything she needed in my house.
Wow.
I'm like, it's just, I can't even tell you the feeling of joy.
Right.
Of being able to find your sock. All my socks match. I don't have no spare socks.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what we got to know. Oh, go ahead, Tony.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, if you're like a kind of a micromanager kind of person, you can shoot yourself in the foot when you delegate to someone and then hover over them, because you might as well do it yourself. Just tell them what you want and give them the space to do it. See, Caterina, look how free you were. You just walked away, which you probably didn't want to. Right. But it worked out great in the end. So it's challenging, to be able to release it and walk away once you delegate it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's control. We all know that we all have issues with control.
I was trying to use the polite word. Come on.
It's control, Tony. Call it what it is. We all have issues. Control is an issue. Okay? And to be a great delegator, you have to give it up. And I also know that many people don't look for help because they think they can't afford the help. And before you count that help out, you've got to know that there are people in your life who are really good at some things, and they might want you to cook dinner for them. They might want to babysit, share babysitting days with you. There's not always, it doesn't always have to be money. And so people are surrounding you with gifts. And I learned this from Gloria early on. I really did. She said, Sabrina, there are people who want to help you. Let them help you. They like your energy. They like to be in your space. You're empowering. You are all those words. And so she said, that's your gift. And they will gain by being in your space. Now, I will tell you, that girl, Gloria Mayfield Banks, she sure knows how to surround herself with a whole bunch of help, all kind of help. And really, they just love being with her. Right. And so for our girlfriends who are out there and guy friends, if you need help in a particular area, write it down, make a list, decide what you are no longer going to own, give it away, find people in your life and ask referrals. Who do you know who's good at this? Who do you know who's good at that? And you will take a load off of your life for sure.
And you know what?
I like the Nextdoor app.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I like the Nextdoor app. It is a safe way because you're finding people that are right in your neighborhood and they have to be verified. So sometimes when I've just needed teenagers to come help or other people to come help, and of course now you can ask, are you vaccinated and those things. But that's another great way, or just getting referrals through friends.
Well, one of the things, you guys, that you want to keep in mind when you're delegating something, it should be, and the acronym is SMART, S-M-A-R-T, SMART. And what that stands for, it should be, S is for specific, so that when you're delegating, it should be something specific that you want them to do for you. And the M stands for measurable. So when you give it to them, they should be able to measure, I want you to complete this, and this is what I'm looking for. This is the results that I'm looking for. And then A, it has to be appropriate. R, something that's reachable. And T stands for time bound. So, you don't just give them a task to do it. Oh, whenever you get it done, get it done. It has to have a start and an end. So remember, when you are delegating, to be smart about it. SMART, specific, measurable, appropriate, reachable, and it needs to have a time stamp to it. Okay, so those are some of the things that you need to keep in mind. So Tony, what else would you add? What is, when you're thinking about individuals that may find it difficult to delegate, and I don't know if that's something that you've ever run into, maybe you have mastered it. What are some of the things that if you've talked to individuals who have had problems delegating, what are some of the things that they can do to let go, and then, like you said, not hover, not be that micromanager, but allow the person to do it? Because that's the worst thing, is for somebody to give you something, then they're hovering all over you.
Well, I'll use Sabrina's word. I used to be very controlling. I used to be. And so I wasn't a good delegator, because I just felt like, you remember that old saying, if you want something done right, do it yourself. That's kind of how I grew up. If you want something done right, do it yourself. So if I asked somebody to help me, then I wanted to know everything they were doing. And then if what they were doing isn't the way I would have done it, I'd say, well, I think you ought to do X, Y, Z. And what started happening was I lost the people. Like if I call someone and say, hey, they'd say, oh, I'd love to, but I really can't, which I've taught people how to say that. Oh, I'd love to, but I really can't. And then there's no comeback. But anyway, so I had to really evaluate myself and start with the smaller things, delegate it, and then just sit back. And just because it wasn't the way I wouldn't have done it, I discovered that it was fine the way they did it. And that's what slowly helped me to release is learning that there's many different ways to do one thing, and it can be done well many different ways. Just like when you have a baby and you have a husband and you want your husband to do everything exactly the way you want him to do it, and then he doesn't want to help anymore, you need to just let the daddy do it the way the daddies do it. They all do it different. And then he will be more likely to jump in and help when you need to. And it's the same thing with learning how to delegate to people. Just let them do it their way.
You know what, Tony? I was just thinking when Kiera was small, and it was in the early days of my business. We were doing a lot of traveling. And, you know, my husband, he used to, you know, travel, ministering all over the country. And it's so funny how, you know, he would just, okay, I got to go here. I'm going to be gone. And it was never a discussion about who's going to watch the kids while I'm gone. It was just pack your bags, kiss you. I see you when I get back. And one day I was thinking about that. I was like, so how is it that he gets to go away and he never asks me what's going to happen with the kids? He trusts that, you know, when he come back, his kids are going to be safe and they're going to be fine. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do that too, right? And so I remember, you know, when I was traveling, I would say, hey, you know, because I'm like, if I need to do something while he's gone, I have to get a babysitter. I'm sure he knows people that he trusts to watch the kids. And so I did. I said, you know what, Chuck? I left the kids. I laid out their clothes and so on and so forth. And you know what? It wasn't an issue. And this is the thing. Sometimes, I don't want to say people are waiting on you to ask. Sometimes you're overloading yourself because you don't ask. I mean, it wasn't an issue. He didn't say, well, you should have told me a month ago. No, I'm like, you're their daddy. You're not the babysitter. You're the kid's dad. And so it was so funny, you guys, when I came home, I said, well, I'll pick the kids up. I was getting in. I said, I'll pick Kiera from school. When I tell you I went to school, she came out. I looked at her hair. And when I tell you, I gasped. I mean, literally, I looked and said, are they going to call Child Protective Services on me?
Right.
And I promise you, Kiera ran to the car. She got in. And when I tell you, she was so happy, smiling. And I was looking at her like, oh, my God. And she said, Mom, she said, my teacher said, oh, your mom must be out of town, huh? I was like, I wonder what let her know. It's like, and look, Mom, Dad did my hair. I was like, but I'm going to tell you, she was so happy. Now, her hair was jacked up, but she was so happy that her dad had done her hair. So I'm saying, you know, sometimes we put ourselves in a box. We put ourselves in a box, and we really need to step outside of that box. And I mean, and that was a lesson to me that, hey, you can go and he's going to take care of the kids and they'll be safe when you get back. Before I move on to whatever girlfriend wants to jump in, let me just tell you some of the things you should avoid. You should avoid delegating these tasks that are sensitive and personal in nature, require a degree of risk and decision making that is unfair to the delegatee, require your personal expertise, require your personal leadership, and have high legal restrictions. Those are some of the things that you should avoid delegating. Caterina, Sabrina, somebody wanted to add?
I'm laughing because I just about delegated all that stuff this week. She had to talk to the attorney. She had to do a couple things. And this is what I did because today my TSA was running out. Global check. You had to call, get this stuff. One day we're going to travel again. And so it's passport. It's all this stuff in there. I'm like, you get on Zoom. You stay on hold. You wait. You are me. And when it's time to ask me a question, you repeat it out loud and I'll tell you the answer. Because it was hour, you know how it is. It was an hour and 15 minutes just to be on hold. And so, you know, I mean, there clearly are certain things. I'm the one who talked to the attorney at the end, but she's the one who got the attorney, sent the contract, sent the this. She did all that stuff before. So now all I got to do is I'm waiting for the phone to ring so I can ask my 3 questions. So,
you know how we want our husbands to be mind readers? You know how when we have like a thing that we need done, but we want them to know we need it done without asking them. So because today I was going to cook, right? But then I'm closing a month and doing other work things. And then I have this all of a sudden. So I called my husband and I said, hey, I am not going to be cooking today. He said, oh, that's cool. I can just grab something when I get home. I said, well, I have to eat too. Because what I wanted him to say was, okay, I'll stop and pick something up. What do you want? But I didn't ask him that. I said, I'm not cooking dinner. And he said, oh, okay, that's fine. I just grab something in the house. So we had that whole conversation. If all you have to do is ask, you say, hey, can you pick up dinner? It's so much easier, but we tend to, as women, not say exactly what it is we want, which is a delegating thing, but we don't do that. Isn't that funny that this is the topic and that's what happens?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
You bought back your hour. You bought back that time by having him pick something up that you would have spent preparing dinner.
Yeah, because I would have been time back. Like all right. Present.
Yeah, and I just think it's important to be really
popcorn.
Yeah, and that's okay. I mean, it's whatever. I think sometimes we put too much stress on things that really don't matter. I so relate. I so relate to all of what you guys are saying. And I just think as women, if we want to be productive, if you really want to use your real gifts, your greatest gifts, you've got to get some help. You cannot be all things to all people all the time. And so I clearly know I have a couple of girlfriends. They would, when I was getting a housekeeper, be careful who you bring in your house. And I wouldn't let nobody keep my kids. And you know what? And all of that could have been noise in my head. But you have to do you again. Back to NDRE's song, just do you. What works for one household might not work for somebody else's household. But when you're establishing your family and what works for you, you have to do what works for you. But for those power players, those people who really want to be productive and successful, it's crazy to try to do it all. You don't have to do it all. There's somebody who could do something that you're holding on to better than you. Let it go. And when you're in business, especially, we learned early on, income producing activities. Do not spend dollar time on penny jobs. And so many times we're spending too much time on things that don't mean a hill of beans. And so spend your time wisely. You can never get it back. You can never get it back.
That's so good, Sabrina. Spend your time wisely. You know, one of the things Chuck, my husband, always says is, I can always make more money, but I'll never be able to get time back. So time is your most valuable commodity. Asset. Yeah. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So let me just tell you guys the kind of people you need to avoid delegating things to, because, you know, I got a feeling that after this show, those that are listening, and again, we still have a few minutes before the show ends. You can feel free to call us at 313-778-7600 and lend your voice to the conversation. However, I believe that a lot of you that are listening and those that you're watching are probably like, I need to start delegating some stuff, taking some stuff off of my to-do list. And I call it a bug list. The stuff that bugs you, that you don't like to do, find somebody else that loves doing it. But these are the people that you need to avoid. You need to avoid people who are already overloaded, people who have other important high priority tasks requiring their attention, people who lack the time to complete the task successfully, people who lack the skills to complete the task successfully, and people who have successfully completed similar tasks if there are other candidates for delegation available. And so, you know, sometimes, you know, frustration, I love, Gloria always says, frustration is misplaced expectation. Right. And so sometimes, you know, we can delegate a job and then we use it as an excuse when the job is horribly done and it's not done to the qualifications that we needed. That's why I don't delegate things because look, no. You gave it to the wrong person. You gave it to somebody that really was not equipped to handle what you delegated. And it's not even fair to give people something that you already know that they lack the skills to do. So those are some things we absolutely need to avoid, because if you don't, then you'll go back to being that control person. Can't nobody do it as good as me. So let's avoid delegating to those kind of people. Sabrina, you gonna say something?
Well, I just got depressed because my cleanup lady just sent me a text talking about, hello, my apologies for a delayed response. I just wanted to update you. 2 of my employees quit. My grandmother's currently in the hospital. I need more time to hire new staff. I hope you understand these unforeseen circumstances. However, I do understand if you need to find someone else. And I just said this morning, doggone if she don't get here soon, and very soon, we got a problem. And then I get this. So I'm looking for a new housekeeper, I guess.
Dial us at 313-778-7600 if you are available to go clean Sabrina's house.
In North Carolina, if you know somebody in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, that's available and they're good, trust me. Text them.
Oh my goodness, I am sad for you, sincerely.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, let's talk about going through a pandemic with no house cleaners.
Right.
Yes.
Oh,
Sabrina had them through the pandemic.
I
had people coming in early on in the pandemic.
Not for a couple of months. But about that third month, I covered myself up. She covered herself up.
My house was dirty and my dogs were looking crazy, and Rio was still getting groomed. Okay.
Oh no.
Listen. At my house, I coughed a few times, and my housekeeper called me later. I won't be back. She didn't come back for 2 months. I coughed 2 times, and that was it.
Chris, I want to tell everyone, how do you figure out what to delegate? Just get you a spiral notebook and start writing things down that bug you, that you know it's constantly taking your time away. You know you need to delegate when you just don't have enough, when you're constantly running out of time and you don't have enough time for the things that are important for you. God will not put more on you. So that means your hands are in something that he's not calling you to do. And you still, my husband will tell me that he needs me to do something. That doesn't mean it has to be done by me. That just means it goes on my responsibility list, and I'm responsible for figuring out how it gets done. So make a list, and then lastly, put it on your prayer list, and then talk to your friends and say, who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? And ask people that are good at delegating. How much do you think I should pay? Because again, you don't always pay hourly. Sometimes you pay them for the job, and be honest with them. People will grow with you in business. Tell them this is what I can afford now, but if you're patient with me, we can go to the top together. And we've all done that as we've grown our businesses.
Yeah, and it's a gut check thing. Anything that's making you mad, if you're doing something around the house, you're doing a job that you don't like, that you're having an attitude after you do it, you need to get some help in that area. Right. Because when the mama is mad, when mama's happy, everybody's happy. When mama's mad, guess what? Everybody's scared and mad in the house, okay? That's right. So let's get happy. Let's get happy by delegating.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. This has been such a great conversation. You know, somebody said, the Bible says, God won't put more on us than we can bear, but other people will, and you'll do it too. So we have to know, sometimes we're doing a whole lot, and sometimes we want to say, God, this is God telling me to do it. And we already know God ain't told you to do all of that, because otherwise he would want you to be burnt out. And so our prayer for you is that you will take the time to put together that list, to find those things that you know you can delegate so that you can get some of that time back. And guess what? That's precious time that you could be doing other things. You could spend more time with your spouse. You could spend more time with your children, because as Sabrina said, you ain't going to be more sexy because you cleaning the toilet and washing floors, right? So we hope that this conversation has been one that has enlightened you, right? And will empower you. Thank you so much, Tony, for being our guest on on today.
Hey, Tony. Thank
Okay,
you,
thank
Tony.
you, Tony.
Always fun.
Absolutely. Everybody needs a Tony in their life. Well, you guys, it has been fun hanging out with you on today. You have been listening to 9:10 a.m. The Superstation with We Got Issues. Sabrina, Caterina, Gloria will be back on tomorrow. And so we'll see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. See you guys. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Funny, good. We managed to make everything funny.
That was good. That was good.
That was really good.
I need a housekeeper like right away, for real.
Yeah, I'm telling you. You can find them. You go on one of them apps. Go to your next door app and ask your neighbors who I need somebody to come.
But I really like her. I'm gonna find somebody for this week, but hopefully she'll come back because she's good. She's really good. You know when you know your house.
When you know where your stuff is, because in the beginning you got to teach them how to put stuff back.
Right. Ain't nobody got time for that. But anyway, yeah.
Well, you know what? But you know what? That's the kind of person that you want. And when people are so good at what they do, people make exceptions. Like,
That's right.
he wasn't that good. You'd be like, I'm on to the next. But because he's that good, you're like, no, I'm gonna give her that grace because I want her to come back. And so that's what when you make an impact, people ain't quick to say, see ya.
That's right.
It's also when you got to pay a little bit more. Sometimes when someone's been with you for a long time, and, so it's like they're worth because they've proven themselves. So be wise, y'all.
Yeah.
Delegate. Thanks, Tony.
All right. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, guys.
Well, I gotta go talk to my assistant.
I'm gonna see what's for takeout dinner.
All right. See y'all. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.